video. I want to say that if you are a person that is very satisfied and happy with just impacting a few people in your inner circle, this video is not for you. It's not. This video is for those individuals, those women in leadership, or other people in leadership that have been called to do something bigger with their lives. And I'm going to share with you a lot of great information, because in this video, you're going to learn 6 skills that every powerful leader has to master in order to continue to succeed. And I've experienced this for the past 20 years of my life, and I want to share with you what I have seen that has been very successful. If you know that you are called to do something bigger in your life, and you know that you are called to make an impact on your local community, maybe your state, maybe your country, and the world, then this video is for you. This is a great opportunity to have as a refresher to really think about things differently in terms of yourself as a leader, and help you to think about different skill sets that you might want to start developing or thinking about as you are making that transition to do the amazing things that you have been called to do here on this earth in your lifetime. Now, I want to preface this by saying that this is a live video here on YouTube, and there's a point in time where I have people that join, and typically I will stop and break and say hello to them. So just bear with me. I want to make sure you're most likely watching this video on the replay. So I want to make sure that I say hello to everyone that joins live, but I am going to go through these 6 topics. As I mentioned, this is definitely more of a serious video. This is one of my probably more serious videos, because I take leadership and communication very seriously, and I want to make sure that you have what you need to get you started for the remainder of this year to be in a place where you are making that big impact in your world. As I mentioned, this video is for those individuals not that are just happy with being impacting a few. This video is for those individuals, those women, those leaders that are ready to make that big impact on the world. So if you're not at the mindset to have a really serious inner reflection of yourself, to know where you need to go and how you want to move forward, I have a lot of other videos that talk about communication and public speaking and interviewing and etc. So watch those videos before you come to this one. This is the serious video today. We're going to go into it. It's Friday, right? So I have time to spend with y'all today to really help you move forward. So I want to say hello to all of you who have joined. Hello, Gabriella. Hello. Benjamin. Hello. Hope you're doing well today. So let me know where you're joining from in this big, beautiful world of ours today. And if you have any questions specifically as it relates to becoming a powerful leader, this is not a play topic. This is not a topic where we're just laughing and playing around. No, this is serious conversations. If you want to learn how to become a powerful leader, how to make that big impact on your communities, on your state, on your country, on the world, then this is where you need to be at this Friday afternoon. Feel free to ask me any questions as we're going through everything. And if you like this information so far, feel free to hit the thumbs up and like this video. Feel free to subscribe. I'd be happy to help you on your journey in the world of leadership. So hello, Vladim. Hello. Welcome. Miss Fist. Hello. Welcome. Jan. Hello. Welcome. Aloha from Hawaii. Yes, absolutely. Aloha. Yes. Hawaii is a beautiful place. I spent a little bit of time there. And let me know if you all have any questions specifically as it relates to this topic. Now, I want to go into the 6 skills that every powerful leader must master to be successful. And I want to make sure that you are at a place where you are going to be that amazing leader that is making that big impact on your community, your state, the world, okay, and future generations. So the first one, let me say hello to Gabrielle. Hello, Gabriel. Hello. Welcome. Habla un poco español. Okay, so now let me go into these 6 specific skills you need to master. If you're trying to really elevate yourself as a leader and go to that next level, then you will be at a good place. Now, if you have questions specifically, I will go into them, but I'm going to go ahead and start, and then I'm going to go through the chat and answer questions in just a few moments. So the very first skill that you're going to need to master when you are trying to go to that next level of being a leader is to collect and get your baseline. Now, this is important. This is what you would call clarity. I will tell you just from experience as a C-suite executive for the past 20 years, I've been a C-suite executive, a manager, a director, a public speaker, and an executive coach. Clarity is important. That's why you reach out to coaches to get support with that, because if you're not really clear on where you're moving forward in your career, it makes it difficult for you to be able to go to that next level in your career or as a leader. So it's extremely important for you to be able to do that. So before I go into this more, let me say hello. So hello, Gabriella. Gabriella said, how do you know you are a leader? Gabriella, that's a really great question. So you know that you are a leader when you will be either in two different scenarios, I would say. The first scenario, I would say, that happens a lot of times when you know that you are becoming a leader is that, one, you've been appointed to the role. Either you've been appointed to the role or you have applied for a position that is in a leadership role. You have been placed into the role of being a leader. That's number one, when you know you are the leader. The second thing that happens most of the time in terms of that definition of leadership is that people start to look to you for guidance. They need your help with problems. This is when leadership starts to take place and starts to formulate, because people are starting to see that, let's say Gabriella is doing something and we can see that Gabriella has a level of expertise that we do not have. Let's talk to her and ask her about what she thinks of something. So that is when leadership starts to develop. That's how you know that you are becoming a leader. It's when people are starting to ask you for insight on different situations, different circumstances, or maybe different projects and things along those lines, because there is something about you that is making them feel like this is the leader. This is the person who I can go to. When you think of the word leader, it means to lead, it means to guide, it means to help move people in a specific direction. And that's really what leadership is truly about. So if you have people asking you for support, asking you for questions, asking you for guidance, then leadership. This is when you know that you are being a leader. And this is when challenging situations may come up, and people will watch how you manage those challenging situations as you are transitioning in your career in different aspects of it, because they want to make sure that the leader is the person that's keeping everybody calm and etc. So this is when you know you are a leader, which, Gabriella, that was a fantastic question, because depending on where you are in a leadership journey, you may not know where you are, how you know if you are a leader. And this is what I have seen over the past 20 years. You will be the person that people start to ask questions to about a specific topic or a specific issue or a specific challenge. So I hope that answered your question. Fabulous question, Gabriella, by the way. I appreciate that. Let me know if you have any other questions as it relates to leadership. Learn from my over 20 years of experience that will absolutely fast track you to that next level of your career, whatever it is that you're doing right now. So I want to say hello to Carlos. Hello, hello. And I also want to say, oh, Gabriella had to leave. Okay, Gabriella, well, glad to see you. Hope you subscribe and be able to come back and watch the replay. So we talked a bit about the first skill that you need to have to be that very powerful leader that we need in the world today, and that is to have a baseline. You need to have a sense of clarity about yourself, your big vision, and where you want to go as a leader. If you do not have clarity, you will not be able to move forward. There has to come a point in time where you have a clear vision of where you are going and where you want to be. Now, if this is something that you are struggling with, and perhaps you're at a place in your career and you know that you're trying to advance in your career, but there's something, right? There's something that is preventing you from being able to move forward in your career. More than likely, there is some aspect of your career or your life where you do not have the clarity that you need to move forward. So getting clarity at the very beginning is a skill that every powerful leader has when they are advancing to that next level. They know exactly where they want to go. They know exactly how they want to go there. They know exactly what it is going to take for them to get there. And a lot of times, us as individuals, we are very busy. We have life, we have families, we have other responsibilities. We may be in school, we may be running a business, we may be managing a business, we may be managing a large organization. And we get so busy and so caught up in the day-to-day things that happen that we do not take the time to think about what we really want or what we really need to help us move forward to that next level. And that is why clarity is absolutely the very, very first, most important step that you have, skill that you need to have as you are developing yourself into a powerful leader. Now, as I mentioned, this conversation is definitely more of an advanced conversation. This is for those individuals who are trying to make big impacts on the world, big impacts in their community, not just taking opportunity just to impact a few individuals. Clarity is important. You need this to get started. Now I'm going to go into the second skill that you'll need to master if you want to become a powerful leader. And I'm doing these in order. These are in order in terms of where you need to start. So we're going to go from here, point A, and we're going to go to point B, which is number 6. So we talked about one already, and the second one is going to be confidence. So confidence is something that you hear a lot. Confidence is a very, very important part of being able to be a powerful leader. Powerful leaders are confident. They know exactly what they can do, and they know exactly what they can't do. And they know where their strengths are, and they know how to make their strengths even stronger. So when you're working with a coach like myself in a coaching setting, my goal is really to help you to find how can we make your strengths even stronger than what they are right now. Because working on your strengths is a great way to build your confidence and boost your confidence. This is a non-negotiable. These are things you have to have if you are going to be that very powerful leader that is making a bigger impact, not only in their small circles, but in their communities, in their state, in their regions, and in the world. You need to be confident. Confidence is something that is really important. So I want to know from you that are watching this video, is this information helpful to you? Has it been helpful to you? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. Just type yes, this is helpful, or yes, we'll be fine. And let me know if you have any questions as it relates to the first 2 skills that I mentioned to you that every leader has to master if they are trying to succeed. Now, many of you know my audience is women in leadership. That's who I focus in on. But a lot of my audience members also happen to not be in the category of women in leadership. So this information can be applicable to any gender, but my main focus is working with women, and that's what I do on a coaching setting. But of course, here on YouTube, I'm supporting as many people as I can. I want to change generations in terms of how we are communicating and to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers and be that leader that we need to have. Now, the third strategy, third skill that you need to master to become a powerful leader is to work on your executive communication. So you may be wondering, what is that? Many of you who have already been in leadership roles understand what I'm saying, but I want to help you think about it in a different way. So how you are communicating will directly either help you to move forward in your career quickly, or it will help you to stay in your career at the same pace that you are right now. So if you feel like there's a point in your career or you're making a transition where you just feel like you're not moving forward, you want to be able to start communicating at that higher level like an executive. So you may be wondering, well, what do you mean specifically? I'm already communicating very well as a leader. Well, there's always things that we can do to go to that next level of leadership. And that's what I really focus on with my audience, is to help them communicate at that higher level than their peers. There is a masterclass that I have on my website. I'm not sure if I put the link in the description or not, but it is a executive communication masterclass. So it's something that allows you to learn a bit more about how to communicate at that higher level, how to really speak concisely, how to articulate your value so that you're able to help influence and help persuade other people to go to a common vision that you may have for yourself, or you may have for your company, your organization, or etc. So this is something that is critically important. I will always be happy to go more into it, but this is just, I want to give a very good overview today of the skills that you need to master. Every powerful leader has to master as they are transitioning to that next level. So we've talked about the third skill. Now we're going to go into the fourth skill, which is a skill that people tend to just like shy away from. Like, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to learn about it. They just don't want to hear anything about it. They don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. Now, do you want to know what it is? Are you ready? The fourth skill that every powerful leader has to master, and I'm going to say it, and I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but if you want to go to that next level in your career, you're going to have this one. This skill is public speaking. You will have to have this skill. Public speaking, I have said this many times on my channel. Public speaking is not for conferences. It's not for TEDx. It's not for big meetings. Public speaking is a skill that you will use in your everyday conversations, and it will also be very helpful for you as you are speaking to big groups, larger audiences, or even in small audiences. Public speaking is that skill that I tell all my clients that are going through my program is the number one skill that you have to master. It will help you to communicate at a different level than other people. Now, there's different levels of public speaking, and the clients that I work with are typically wanting to go to that advanced level, which is where I support them at, in terms of giving them the knowledge that I gained as a public speaker for the past 20 years. I have to attribute a lot of my growth to the wonderful organization called Toastmasters International. I spent a lot of time with Toastmasters International that helped me to work on my public speaking skills to be where I am with you today. And I took it even a step further to become a distinguished Toastmaster with Toastmasters International. And this award really is only accomplished by about 1% of their 358,000 members worldwide. You have to do a lot to become a distinguished Toastmaster. And with that, I take public speaking very seriously, and I do that with my clients. I share with them my over 20 years of experience being able to communicate and speak at a higher level. So you're going to need public speaking, because if you're, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you are at a place where you are trying to make a big impact in your community, make a big impact in your region, make a big impact in your state, make a big impact in your country, or even make that impact to the world and future generations, you will need to master public speaking. This is a skill you're going to have. There's no way around it, my friends. There's no way. It is the gatekeeper, as I would say. Public speaking is the gatekeeper to your success. So if you really are trying to go to that next level, then you definitely want to do public speaking for sure. You have to master this skill. There's no way to get past it. There's no way to get past it. You have to master it. Now, I've shared with you four skills that you will need to master if you're going to become a powerful leader. So let me know in the comments below if you feel like this is helpful. If you've enjoyed this information so far, then feel free to hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, because it really does help it to go out to more individuals that are trying to grow on their leadership journey as well. And if you've enjoyed what I've talked about so far, this is a great opportunity for you to subscribe to the channel. I go live here very often, and I have some of my best content is actually in my lives. So spend some time looking at that. I will be doing more pre-recorded videos, more reaction videos that will help you to really take some very good strategies and techniques to help you communicate at a higher level. That's coming up very, very soon. But my lives are where I spend most of my time with my audience. We've done so many lives here lately that YouTube has noticed I've done a lot of lives, and they reached out to me via email and asked me to be a member of the YouTube live streamer research panel, where I will provide insight and feedback in terms of how to continue structuring live streaming on this platform. So I appreciate you all for being here and being supportive on my journey. This is really where the magic happens, is in the lives. Definitely communicating and engaging with y'all and answering your questions is always extremely helpful. And if you have any questions about this topic specifically, put them in the comments below. Please let me know. So we're going to go into the 5th skill that you will need to master. Every powerful leader masters this skill. And this skill is one of those skills that people talk about often. It is definitely more of a buzzword, I would say now, that people are starting to focus a bit more on. And that skill is executive presence. Every powerful leader has an executive presence. There is not a powerful leader that does not have an executive presence. If you know of one, let me know. But majority of them, they have some type of presence with them. And so if you're wanting to learn more about executive presence, how you develop it, I have several videos here on my YouTube channel about how to develop your executive presence. There is a video specifically that talks about how to develop your executive presence. I have a collaboration that I've done about executive presence. I talk about executive presence on my live. I have a lot of information here about executive presence, but I do want to preface this by saying that your executive presence, as you are making that big impact on the world or your community, your region, your country, your state, your community, this is the way that others perceive you. This is how other people perceive you as being the leader, as being the executive. Many, many years ago, I did a video where I talked about what executive means, like the word. I looked up the definition of the word executive, and executives are the individuals who carry things out. They execute. Execute means that you are carrying a task through to completion, or you are directly involved with the success of a project. So this is what people need to see from you. There's a lot of things that goes into executive presence. We go into this a lot more in detail in The Real Executive Woman, my transformative leadership experience that I mentioned at the beginning of this live. But your executive presence will not only help you to accelerate in your career and go to that next level, but it will actually protect you. People don't talk about this on YouTube. I have seen no one talk about this on YouTube just yet. Now, I haven't watched every single YouTube video, but for majority of the people that are talking about executive presence or they're in that coaching space, a lot of them talk about theories and fluff and hypotheses, as it relates to executive presence. And this is not the channel for that. I talk about real strategies, real scenarios that happen in the world of leadership, in the world of communication, that will directly impact how you are being perceived in terms of your executive presence. And I want to make sure that you understand executive presence is something that will protect you. And if you want to learn more about that, feel free to contact me. If this is something that you're struggling with and you're trying to establish your executive presence, maybe you're a new leader, or perhaps even if you are an established leader and you're noticing that perhaps your team is treating you differently, or they're acting not in the professional way, or there's something that is missing, we definitely need to look at your executive presence. So reach out to me, contact me for an executive strategy session. You're welcome to reach out to me at Excite Excellence on Instagram or at Dr. Jacinta Lamentai on LinkedIn. And of course, you're always welcome to leave me a comment here on YouTube, and we'll find some time to connect. But executive presence is something that will help you accelerate your career growth, and it will protect you against nonsense that actually does happen in the leadership realm. If you've been a leader for any point in time, there's always something that happens that just makes no sense. And that's why it's nonsense. It could be with your team, it could be with your clients, it could be with your partners, it could be with a lot of different things. But I do want to specifically say that executive presence is that one skill that will take you to that next level. And every powerful leader has to master this skill. They have to have some form of an executive presence. They have to have it. There's not really a way for you to make a big impact if you're trying to do it on a very, very big scale without having some form of a presence. Even if it's a subtle presence, you have some form of a presence when you are interacting with other people. Now, if you are at a place where this information I'm sharing with you, these past 5 steps that I've shared with you, 5 skills that every leader, every powerful leader must master if they want to be successful, then this is a great opportunity for you to reach out to me, contact me for an executive strategy session. I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you and see where you are right now and where you're trying to be, and perhaps figure out what's holding you back, what's preventing you from moving forward, or what skills do you need to start developing to help you to go to that next level, whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish in your career. So reach out to me, contact me. I'll be happy to talk to you. And also I can share with you some insight more about the Real Executive Woman so you have a grasp of what this is. Everything I'm sharing with you right now are key modules in the Real Executive Woman, because this is what I've found that really works. These are fundamental. These are things that every powerful leader must have. And if you are at the point where you're trying to be an executive woman, then you need to have these skills. These are like non-negotiable skills you have to have. There's a lot of things people will say, oh, you need to have this, you need to have that. You need to have humility, you need to be humble. All of those skills are important and you need those as leaders, absolutely. But what I'm sharing with you is the big picture. These are the big categories that you are going to want to work on if you're trying to make that big impact on the world, which I know that you are. If you are watching this video, you're taking leadership seriously, and if you're subscribed to this channel, then I know you are trying to advance and go to that next level and communicate at a higher level than your peers. Now, the 6th and final skill that you need to have as a leader, every leader must manage, must have this skill, and that is executive leadership. And we've talked about several things. We've talked about a lot so far, and I appreciate you all for sticking with me and watching this video and liking the video and being present. I just appreciate you so much. Executive leadership, you have to have. And so when I talk about executive leadership, you may specifically wonder what do you mean exactly? Executive leadership is something that what I'm referring to is that you are able to lead your team as an executive, not just as your manager, not just as your supervisor. No, you are leading your team at that next level. And so executive leadership is extremely important because this is more encompassing of the everything. All these 6 skills that I mentioned to you that every powerful leader must have is all pretty much put together into the executive leadership. That's how you lead your teams. That's how you lead your businesses. That's how you lead your communities. Now, I want to say hello to Guy that comments. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for the compliments, Business Barbie. Thank you. I appreciate that. So if you have any questions specifically, as it relates to these 6, and I'll say 6 skills every powerful leader must master, then let me know. So I'm going to go through these 6 skills that every powerful leader must master very quickly, just so that you all have it as a big summary. If you want to learn a lot more about it, then definitely check out the replay. We go into a lot of information and talk about each one. And there's a lot more that goes into it, especially in the Real Executive Woman, which is a program that I have. And then, of course, I have a lot of content on my YouTube channel. If you're trying to elevate to that next level in your career and communicate at a higher level, then you're at the right place. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. But let me know if you have any questions specifically as it relates to any of these topics, as I'm about to go through them very quickly. So there are 6 skills that every powerful leader has to master in order to continue to succeed. These 6 skills are the skills that you need if you're trying to make a big impact on your community, on your region, on your state, on your country, on the world. I'm going to go through them in order of what you need to work on. The first is your baseline, your clarity. You have to have clarity in terms of where you're going, what's your vision, what's your why, and etc. The second is going to be confidence. Confidence is critically important. You have to have confidence. You can't move forward without it. Third is going to be executive communication. You have to communicate at a higher level than your peers, which is why you're watching this channel. The fourth is going to be public speaking. I mentioned to you, public speaking is the gatekeeper. You cannot move forward if you do not have public speaking. You need this in order to go to that next level in your leadership role. And the fifth is going to be your executive presence. People talk about this, but they don't tell you the things about it that I shared with you in the live. So make sure you watch the replay. And the final one, the sixth one, is going to be executive leadership. This is how you lead your teams. This is how you lead your businesses. This is how you lead your organizations, and etc. So all of these aspects, all of these skills that every powerful leader has to master, they have to master this. You look at your leaders of the world today, they have these 6 skills. They have every one of them put together. And that's what I do for my audience here, is to help you develop these skills so that all 6 of them come together. And it's just like, boom, we have the most amazing leader. This is what we need in the world today. Now, no one's perfect. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. But in order to become those really powerful and amazing leaders that we need to have all 6 of those skills come together. So you definitely want to subscribe to the channel to learn more. Ask me any questions. I'll answer them for you as it relates to anything leadership related, managing, strategies, salary. We had a great conversation about salary a couple of days ago from one of my subscribers. So there's a lot of things that I can talk to you about. Feel free to lean on my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, a director, an executive coach, and a public speaker to provide you with those next level skills that you probably are not going to have the chance to just review in a book to tell you how to manage these real scenarios. I focus more on the more challenging situations that come up. This will be your high stakes, high pressure situations. I am more comfortable with those. I'm comfortable with everything, but these in particular are more advanced level, more challenging skills that you have to master. And I'm more comfortable with them because I've been in those very friendly situations and I've been in a lot of contentious situations, which is why I can speak to you more about handling very, very challenging situations, which is skills that a lot of times you just don't know what to do. You'll have a lot of fires happen to you. You're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to manage this. Well, this is the place where you want to go to get real guidance, real strategies that will absolutely help you to move things forward. So I appreciate you all for joining today. Let me know if you have any questions specifically as it relates to anything that I talked about with these 6 skills that every powerful leader must master in order to move forward. As I mentioned earlier, I appreciate you all so much for being here on the lives today and helping with engagement and interacting with me and asking me great questions as we had at the beginning. It's very helpful. I've mentioned many times before that I've been doing so many lives that YouTube is noticing I'm doing a lot of lives. So glad to be just a part of the journey and helping anyone here on the internet and across the world be able to get to that next level in their careers. I am really excited to be a part of YouTube's live streamer research panel. A lot of it is attributed to you all for being present for the lives and being here and interacting with me. So I'm hoping to be able to provide them with some feedback and basically offer your comments too. If there's anything specifically about your lives that you want to learn more about, or you want to see maybe formatting a bit differently, let me know, because I'm on the live streamer research panel and they will be reaching out to me for different questions and survey and feedback on the platform as a whole, because I've been doing so many lives that they notice I'm doing a lot of lives. And so I'm really glad and really blessed and just honored to be a part of that, because this has been a lot of fun for me. I had no idea that doing this many lives would cause YouTube to take a look at me. But nonetheless, let's check a look at the comments and see what's going on. Okay, guy that comment says, I'm trying to remember the last time I was a leader and it was leading at work, teaching new hires. Yes, absolutely. We had a good question, and I appreciate you sharing that, guy that comments. We had a really good question earlier that asked, how do you know if you're a leader? So if you are remembering that time when you were a leader, then helping people, helping new hires is really important. Believe it or not, a lot of times people tend to not onboard new hires the right way. And what I've seen that happens a lot of times in different organizations is if you are not able to lead the new hires in a really positive way, their tenure at the jobs tend to not be as long because they kind of struggle with what to do. That's probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed. And God, that comments, I would want to know from you too. What have you seen on your end also, when you were working as a leader, when you're working with new hires? What are some things you've seen on your end that'd be helpful to know? But I've seen on my end that a lot of times people just kind of struggle because they go into jobs and they don't know what to do, and then they really get thrown into it. And especially in this day and age now, where there's so many people that have been laid off from jobs, unfortunately, and there's been companies are closing, businesses are going bankrupt, and etc. And a lot of times they're scrambling. They need to hire somebody, and this person needs to know everything like yesterday before they even started. And they don't get the really proper onboarding that they need to try to help them move forward, because they just need a warm body. I mean, they need somebody to help take initiative and take care of things, but they don't really get the training that they need. Okay, so God, that comment said, usually I take the role of undermining in any and all positions of authority more fun than trying to snatch the crown. Okay, I understand. Well, of course, when you're working as a leader, one of the things about leadership that sometimes people don't talk about is that it's not only like the leader. And so if you've had situations where you've had other people of authority who've been maybe giving you a hard time and you're trying to undermine them, then there's probably something that happened that made you feel that way or made you want to do this. Because sometimes as leaders, depending on the leader, some people, when they're leaders, they really literally, and not everybody, they look at themselves as like the kings and the queens of the castle, and they're looking down at everybody like, what is everybody doing? That's not what leadership is. Leadership really is the opportunity to work together as peers, and you are the leader, the person that's going to ultimately make the decision. But ultimately, you can't lead by yourself. You have to have a team with you. You have to have people working with you. And sometimes even your more seasoned leaders, I've seen it in C-suites where they completely forget that it is the group as a whole that is making the project move forward, or making the business move forward, or making the business make money. And sometimes the leaders, they just completely forget that. They really do get the high and mighty syndrome, I would say. And they really do think that they're above people, and ultimately they're not. Your peers are the ones that are supporting you. So you always want to make sure that you're in a setting where you're taking care of your peers, or at least you're acknowledging them. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and not being that person that looks down on people. People do it all the time. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm talking about real scenarios. I'm not talking about the fluff. I know managers that have that perception and have that mindset where they think the people that work below them that they are leading are nobody. They're replaceable. They don't worry about them. And it's unfortunate that you have a lot of managers do that. You have a lot of leaders that do that too. And that's one part we were kind of talking about briefly that I mentioned just in a very brief conversation, was just staying humble. I mean, because ultimately we all have skill sets. We are unique in our own special way. And there's certain things about us that we may be able to have more experience on than even some of your leaders. So being able to appreciate everybody for where they are is critically important as it relates to that executive leadership. And that's why in my program, the transformative program, The Real Executive Woman, where I talk about executive leadership, and it deals specifically with leading and working with your teams. A lot of people they forget it. They they miss it. They've been in leadership roles for so long, and they're used to just making the decisions. And after a while, they forget to get input from their team, or they forget to talk to their team about it, or be able to at least get some feedback, and they just go into the executive decision-making mode. And sometimes it happens like that. If you are in a leadership role and your peers or your people you're working with or leading may be at different levels, then sometimes it may be kind of challenging to kind of shift gears to get them to that level. But that's why you're the leader. You're here to lead them, to guide them, to help them think about things differently, because every leader should want to have the people that they lead do even better than they do. And I think if there are leaders out there that could care less about how the people that are underneath them are doing, or they don't care about their career, then they're not really true leaders. A true leader will help and support you regardless if you stay at their company or not. A lot of companies, depending on where you work for, they want to have you in a scenario where they basically feel like they own you, and that if you decide to leave their company, how dare you to leave their company, you can't leave, and you're gonna have a horrible time. So there's some people out there like that, and I'm telling you, real talk, there's people, there's managers and there's leaders that think like that. I never thought like that. I always wanted to find out what my team wanted to do and how can I help them to grow. How can I help you to grow and to find another job that may hopefully pay you more money, and then hopefully be able to help you accelerate to that next level in their careers. That's been me, but I can't say every manager, every leader is like that. There's some really fantastic leaders out there, and if you are working with new hires and helping them, it takes a certain amount of patience and a certain amount of passion that you have for really helping new hires, because new hires are always sometimes more challenging to train initially because they're new, they're just learning, they're just figuring things out, they're gonna make a lot of mistakes. But if you have that patience to work with them, that says a lot about you as a leader when you were leading people. But then, of course, there's those leaders out there who really do think that they just know it all, they've done it all, and they don't really need help with anything. And those are the type of people, the type of leaders that what I've seen, and this is just my own very humble opinion, these type of leaders, they will go up in their career growth. They go up and up and up and up and up and up, right? But then they get to a point where they just straight plateau and they don't move any further up because they have forgotten what it means to be a leader. And that happens. It happens a lot. I've seen it happen to C-suites where they've gotten up, they've gone up, they've went up to C-suite level, and then they stay right there. Even though there's a possibility for them to do even higher things, they just drop themselves down because they forget what it means to be a leader. This happens, and I'm telling you real talk, I've seen it. I've seen it happen many times over the years, and I don't want anyone in my audience to make that mistake, because oftentimes the people that are watching these videos, whether they're in my immediate target audience of women in leadership or they're leaders that are trying to go to that next level and communicate at a higher level because they want to make a big impact on the world, they want to generate more income for themselves and their families and etc. I don't want you to fall into those mistakes, because people make those mistakes all the time, and that's why I'm sharing it with you now, because a lot of times you may not, if you haven't been on the C-suite side, the more executive level, then you'll think, oh man, these people are doing great. They're just up there. They've done all these amazing things. When in actuality, I've seen the back end, what happens behind closed doors. And a lot of these people tend to struggle. Okay, let me see what happened. Okay, my audio and video just went blank for a second. I have been live for a long time, so it's about 42 minutes, so maybe YouTube is telling me it's time to take a break. I'm not sure. But guy that comment said, sometimes I end up leading / training the leadership, which is ironic because I'm supposed to follow their lead. Well, that happens a lot of times, and that says a lot about you as a leader, guy that comments, because this is what leadership means. And this is specifically what we talked about earlier in the live when Gabriella asked the question, how do you know when you're a leader? Guy that comments, this is a great example. When you are actually teaching leadership, because you're supposed to follow their lead, one of the things that I'll say, and I'm just saying this, I don't know your discipline or your field or your industry specifically, but typically what happens to leaders, if you're leading and training them, which is ironic, like you said, you're supposed to follow their lead, majority of the time, there is an aspect of your industry specifically that the people that are in leadership are in, they have completely lost touch of. There may have been one point in their life where they were directly involved in the trenches, as I would say, but they just completely lost it. And that's how you really start to teach people, even on the leadership level, different things, because you're in it. You know what's going on the day-to-day, and a lot of times they're out of touch because they're doing a lot of administrative work and they don't know what's going on. And so I always encourage leaders, that people that are going to that next level in their careers and their leadership and etc., that they want to make sure that they're always in touch with what's going on the front end, not necessarily only on the back end. And I know sometimes it sounds silly, and people, when they get in those high level roles, they think, why do I have to be checking in people, or why do I have to be working in this type of role when this is at the front end? No, you need to at least know what's going on. And even if you don't want to do the role specifically, you can at least spend time with the people that are there so you know what's going on. And that's a lot of times where I've seen people that are leaders or teaching leadership what's going on, because the leadership just has no clue. And the good thing is that with you sharing that information to them, guy that comments, that says a lot about you as a leader and the amount of expertise that you have, because they are able to trust you to say, okay, well, guy that comments has told us this specifically, and these are things we might want to think about. So I think that's fantastic. Okay, guy that comment said you're good now. Okay, yeah, thank you. I don't know what happened to my video. Okay, guy that comment says, out of the 30 managers I've had in my career, I'd poach maybe 3 to start my own business. Well, that is something to think about. And starting your own business, I want to first commend you for doing that. That is a huge jump, huge leap. If that's something that you're planning to do, I definitely talk about that a bit more on my channel in terms of trying to be able to just get the communication side of it, especially as a business owner. But one of the things, this is a natural progression that I have seen, and this is a bit off topic, but I do want to actually share it because it's something that you bring up that's a really good point, and you should definitely go with it, is when you get to that level of leadership where you're making that big impact on your community, on your region, your state, your country, the world, other generations, then there's a logical progression that I've seen people do. So this is the progression. I'm going to show it to you in video. People will start off here. Everyone starts here. Everyone starts at the bottom at some point. And then they take either degrees, they start advancing in their career and they go up. Or they become a manager and then they go up even higher. Or they go to a C-suite and they go even higher. And there's a point where you say, you know what? I can do better by myself, or I can do better with my own business. And that is really the next level of entrepreneurship that I see a lot of people like yourself, guy that comments, that's mentioning about transitioning potentially into your own business. So that is something you definitely want to look into. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for anyone to transition into the business if it's right for them. There's some people that can do it really well, and there's some people that they try and it doesn't work out well. But there's a lot of fundamental things I know I talk about here on my channel to help you with the communication side of things, the leadership side of things, especially when you're trying to run your own business and you're trying to be able to negotiate contracts or have conversations, to really present yourself as that thought leader that you are. Because if you're trying to do your own business and start it, there's a certain level of expertise that you have that you know that you have and you know you can help people with. And that goes back to actually skill number 1 that we talked about 47 minutes ago now, which was getting a baseline and establishing clarity. That's what we talked about in the live today, where we have basically covered what the 6 skills that every powerful leader needs to master. And the first one is clarity, and knowing that you have a skill set that you can use to help advance yourself, other people, and even your business is amazing. And I commend anyone for doing that. It's a hard job to do, especially if you're working full time. I know how challenging that can be. But the fact that you want to do it, guy that comments, means that you're at that next level. You are. So if you need any support or need any guidance in kind of determining and talking through things, and let me know. But this is something you might want to take a look at. It's the fact that you're even thinking about it means that you're already at that next level. It's just a matter of the logistics, the things that everybody that owns a business goes through. We figure out what it is that we want to have. You know, what do we want to have our business do? How do we want to provide services? Is it going to be digital? Is it going to be brick and mortar? Is it going to be in a different type of format? And then who your audience is, and getting everything all set up, your business name, your business logo. If you want to have a website, do you want to just be on social media? there's a lot of things that go into having a business. I have my own business, Excite Excellence Incorporated, which is what you see here. So it's always fun. Business ownership is fun. It has its challenges, but when you're able to get yourself to that next level as a leader, then you have that logical progression. I see a lot of people do that. Now, some people decide that they don't want to take the logical progression and they just keep looking for manager jobs. And there's nothing wrong with that either. You can work for companies as long as possible. But for the thought leaders, like Guy That Comments that mentioned it, in terms of trying to have your own business, that just means you're at a different level than your peers. And that's why hopefully you're subscribed to the channel. So I want to see if you all have any additional questions as it relates to business, managing, leadership. I'm here really to support you. I want to share with you over my 20 years of experience to help fast track you to that next level in your career. I've seen a lot of situations, and if there's any situations that you're wondering about, or not sure how you should have managed it, or not sure how you could have communicated, or maybe you have a forward-thinking goal that you're trying to work on, then just let me know. Feel free to put them in the comments below, especially if you are watching now or if you're watching live on replay. Or not live on replay, you're watching the recording of the replay, then I'll be happy to provide you with any insight that I can to help you on your journey. This definitely is one of my longer lives. It's at 50 minutes right now. So we've been live for a while, but I tend to like to have longer lives on Friday afternoons or Friday evenings because I have more time. I don't have to rush to get kids to bed and do all those other things that I have to do during the week. But weekends are always good times, especially during the week. And I do my best that I can to try to do lives during the week and get things ready on the weekends to prepare for the upcoming week. So if you have any questions, let me know. As I mentioned, I have a lot of different offerings right now. I have executive strategy sessions that you can reach out to me if you're at a point in your career where you have something that you want to focus in on. It could be something as very small, or maybe multitasking a lot. The strategy sessions, they typically start at $130 and they go up from there, just depending on the level of complexity that you have. And then I have the transformative Real Executive Woman program that will be a game changer for anyone that is really trying to elevate in that next level of leadership to really support other people. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different content and topics I have here on my YouTube channel. So feel free to just spend some time here and take a look at some of the lives. I have a few videos. There are some reaction videos that I am going to be doing here. I'm going to actually be going back into them very soon. These are my favorite type of videos. If you watched, I have a video on my channel where I did a breakdown of a couple things of the presidential debate previously. I talk about different strategies, different techniques that you can use in your everyday conversations to make your messages more impactful. So I'm going to start doing that again. And I found that a lot of people did like those type of videos, because oftentimes when you're trying to communicate at that higher level, you just don't know what to do. You don't know what do you do with your hands? What do you do with your face? What do you do with your eyes? Sometimes we just don't know what to do. And so I believe that some of those reaction videos I can share with you and show you what people are doing very well and show you what people are maybe not doing so well on can help you to adapt some of those techniques and strategies to, one, make you look like a superstar, because if you're following this channel, I want to make you look like a superstar. And then two, if you're not at trying to be a superstar, I will at least help you not look like you're making a big mistake. So there's a lot of mistakes that people make in the public speaking world. So I'm going to be looking at different leaders of different worlds, more than likely different individuals that may be in leadership categories in different parts of the country, or perhaps they may be politicians, or they may be other people. I'm targeting people that communicate at a higher level. And the reason I do this is because I want you to communicate at a higher level. And in order for you to communicate at a higher level, you have to see and pick up on things that people do to communicate at a higher level. And all of these type of skills I share with you, these are the type of strategies and techniques that you will not get in the book. These are strategies and techniques that only come from real world experience that I've seen, that I've used, that I've found to be very helpful when I've done public speaking in front of audiences and virtually on live. So just want to make sure you're aware that I'm going to be doing some of those videos. Let me know in the comments below if you have a particular leader that you want me to take a look at and to see what you can learn from them in terms of how they're communicating. That is very good. And some things that you may learn from them to not do that detracts from their message or takes away from the message. So when you're communicating with your teams, with your business partners, or with some of your other peers and etc., that you're not making these critical mistakes that people make all the time that comes into to play. So let me see if there's anything else in the comments. So guy that comment said, can I be cheer captain? Of course, absolutely, absolutely. So definitely share this video with any of your colleagues that are really trying to go to that next level of leadership. I take leadership seriously. I take communication even more seriously. So if you have somebody that you know that is really trying to they're trying to grow. They're trying to grow. They're trying to elevate. They want to go to that next level. And maybe they just need some structure. They just need a little bit of structure to say, perhaps say something in this way, perhaps maybe handle things this manner, maybe don't lose your cool just yet. Let's strategically figure out how to emphasize that. That's really what I want to do. And so just sharing that information is definitely helpful. I want to, impact as many people as I can. I really want to impact future generations, regardless of gender, to really be able to communicate at that higher level, because the information I share really does apply to everyone. Even though my target audience is specifically working with women in leadership. So any other questions you all have that I can support you with on this amazing Friday evening? This is always a great day, depending on your work schedule. For those of us who are during the week, Friday is always the best day of the week, right? Friday is always the best day of the week. It starts the weekend. So I just want to see if you all have any questions. If not, I appreciate you all for being here and for watching my longest live on my channel. This one is almost at an hour. This is definitely my longer live. We're at 56 minutes right now. So that's a long live, but it's a lot of great information that we talked about in the live. The great engagement. I really appreciate you all for being here, being supportive, and asking questions and talking about scenarios. This is how other people grow, and this is how other people learn. It's not just for people that are here locally. This is people around the world that are trying to learn different aspects of being leaders, being communicators, and they only learn through watching YouTube and being able to engage with other people and read comments and see what other people are doing and what has worked for them. So if you have any scenarios specifically you want to share in the comments, if you're watching the replay, then feel free to share them so we can learn all together. If not, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, depending on what time or what time zone or what country you're in. And I will see you all next week when I start going live again. I'm going into a few more different topics as it relates to leadership and being able to communicate at that higher level. I'm working on a few strategies this week. So if there's anything specifically you want to learn more about, let me know. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.